Hello, my name is Jared Johnson, and today I'll be presenting to you on Robert Nathaniel Dett's In the Bottoms Characteristic Piano Suite. I'll include some personal life information and an analysis on this suite, which was written in 1913, and pretty much play a few examples for you as well throughout. So, here we go. Okay, so some background information on Nathaniel Dett. Of course, his first name is Robert. He's named after his father, but he goes by his middle name, which is Nathaniel. And his mother is actually Canadian, born in Canada, which is where the family lived for a while until moving back to the States. The entire family was very musically inclined. Everybody could play and sing, and highly educated father and mother. Nathaniel's brothers also played piano, but he kind of took to it a little bit quicker and was able to play by ear and read at the age of 5. He played at local churches, making money, and as a bellboy at the Cataract Hotel. He eventually attended Oberlin College, and his interest in folk music was awakened kind of by two major influences, both Samuel Coleridge Taylor, and who was an Afro-British composer, violinist, and Antonin Dvorak, who was a renowned composer as well, really popular for the New World Symphony. And in this push for finding a sound that was unique to for nations to find that. It was really interesting to me in my research is that America and the musicians tried to seek out help in developing and understanding what their nationalistic sound would be. And when composers like Debussy and Dvorak would come over, they would notice that there was already a very unique sound present in America from the local South, you know, whether it be New Orleans and the jazz of that era and the ragtime and things like that, or your Native American music as well. That was just kind of signature and unique to America, yet and still America was in its, trying to keep up with and in keeping with this European tradition. So I find it very interesting in the times, and that's what we have here for Nathaniel Dett. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. This is a timeline of some pivotal moments in Dett's life, from the time he graduated college up until the time he completed his master's degree at Eastman School of Music, and just provide some insight into his realm in academia. So I'll pause for a little bit and allow you all to check out some of these things.
Despite his long career as a piano teacher, Nathaniel Dett is best known for his musical compositions, most of which were piano and choral pieces. Like Antonin Dvorak of Czechoslovakia and Richard Wagner of Germany, Dett drew upon the folk songs of his ancestors, immortalizing the African-American spirituals of his people with ink and paper. Dett succinctly summarized the philosophy behind his crusade to transcribe the oral melodies of Black Americans in the title of a 1918 essay that he wrote for Hampton University, The Emancipation of Negro Music. He elaborated upon this philosophy in The Emancipation, writing, "We have this wonderful store of folk music, the melodies of an enslaved people. But this store will be of no value unless we utilize it, unless we treat it in such a manner that it can be presented in choral form, in lyric and operatic works, in concertos and suites and salon music, unless our musical architects take the rough timber of Negro themes and fashion from it music which will prove that we, too, have national feelings and characteristics, as have the European peoples whose forms we have zealously followed for so long." Throughout the course of his life, Dett published around 100 compositions. These included 46 choral works, 23 vocal solos, 12 piano solos, 5 piano suites, 2 collections of spirituals, and 1 oratorio.
Okay, out of the 100 pieces that Dett composed, there's one in particular that is extremely popular entitled In the Bottoms. It has 5 movements in it, and it is a characteristic suite for solo piano. Each of the movements uniquely delivers vivid imagery and dignified feelings specific to Negro life in the river bottoms of the Deep South. So let's kind of break down each one. The first movement is entitled Night, and it's got these open fifth intervals that are kind of symbolic of the open sky. Okay, so on and so forth, and it goes like that, and it has some other nice melodies as well. But it's a pretty straightforward song and an opening for this overall suite. The second movement is called His Song. And the character depicted in the second movement is an elderly black man who sits and hums an improvised tune, likely a spiritual or hymn, for hours on a quiet evening. It illuminates a sense of calmness and peace and gratitude, despite living in a world of oppression and depression. Dett conveys the strong, resilient hearts of black people in this movement, and others have compared it, the main theme, to Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen, which is another very popular Negro spiritual. So let's get into the ending of this one. Okay, so that main theme there, and that kind of just resonates throughout the movement. The third one is entitled Honey, and honey alludes to Southern pleasantries as a term of endearment. Depending on the context, honey can mean any number of things. In this case, it's a flirtatious nature, and Dett draws the inspiration from respected author and poet Paul Laurence Dunbar. So that one is a little more what we call a humoresque, and it's kind of a little lighter. So on and so forth. The two that we're going to actually discuss in detail today are the fourth and fifth movements. Okay, so the fourth movement is entitled Morning, and Dett illustrates the rising of the sun as its horizon meets the vast Mississippi River, symbolizing beauty and hope of a new day begun. It follows the form of a barcarolle, typical of the Venetian barcarolles with the gondoliers, and in the European style and tradition, kind of highlighting the intervals of thirds and sixths and so forth. And then finally the dance, the Juba dance, which is the fifth movement. Juba dance is based on syncopated rhythms of the antebellum folk dance, patent Juba. The dance is body percussive, involving foot tapping, hand clapping, and thigh slapping in intricate rhythmic patterns. Fiddlers and banjo players would accompany and improvise melodies on top of that rhythm. And so that's where we get this really staple kind of genre category of music that is really nationalistic, in a sense that it was brought from African traditions and carried out as a form of entertainment on plantations during the 1800s here in America, and then finally a refined form to kind of attribute to that. Okay. you.